this episode we are showing you how to create your own orchard. From digging the holes, to planting the trees, fertilizing, watering, and creating the entire orchard in one day. Stay with us. First step in building a orchard is to plan where the trees are going to be planted. And we decided to plant them in 2 rows, I guess 2 rows with 5 on each side. So that's going to be a very small orchard with 10 trees. The distance between each tree is 5.5 meters. And the distance between the rows is approximately the same, around 4.5, something like that. And as you can see, I used small wood to mark the spots and a orange spray, just to be sure where my spots are going to be. I decided to lower the distance to around 4 meters between the trees and to around 5 meters between the rows. So a couple of days after, the excavator is here, and what he's doing is, so he's digging the hole for around half meter deep and for around half meter to 70 centimeters wide. And what he's doing is that he's first taking one let's say bucket of the soil out, and the second one is actually just more softer and easier for the plant to make the roots in there, because if the soil is very compact, very hard, the roots are going to have really hard time in expanding. So that's why he's taking the first bucket out, and the second one is actually taking the soil out and then returning it back inside. Alright guys, as you can see, we finished digging the holes for our orchard, and all of these holes are half meter deep, but the soil which you see here will actually fall down a little bit. So yeah, so we plan to leave that soil as it is, maybe dig it on hand a little bit, put a little bit of that extra good soil around it, then plant the tree, and then again with this soil around, again to put it over it and to make it a little bit bigger. So yes, that's our plan for building this orchard. So here is 12 holes, as you can see, 2 right there, 2, and 4 more over here. So yes, that's how it looks right now. The guys with the excavator did a very good job. I'm very happy.
So we are preparing for planting our apple trees, pear trees and tangerine trees. Here we have the wood sticks, the fertilizers, right in here, organic ones of course. Then we have the roses, so the orchard will be full of bees, and the fertilizers for the roses are also organic one. Here we have the, unfortunately, plastic, but they didn't have any other option, the protection for the trees from the wild animals like rabbits and wild pigs. And here is Michael preparing everything. Are you excited?
Huh?
Are you excited?
Yes.
Okay.
So much that I am so tired.
And the weather is beautiful today. It is very cold and windy, but it's better than rainy, because it was raining for almost 1 month every day. So we are really happy that it's sunny today.
Yep, and this is now soil prepared for the plant. The plant will go inside, then around it a little bit of the fertilizer and the soil, especially for this sort of tree. And then next to it, it will come the regular soil, and that's all.
So right now I am preparing the trees to be planted. So first we're gonna remove this part, the plastic of course, and then we're gonna trim so the roots can stick better to the ground. So this is the apple tree, the green one. They're usually sweet in taste. For those who don't really like the red sweet apples, these ones are really good for the apple pies usually. We really like them in smoothies or in apple pies, and just to eat them as a snack. For us it's really important that we have the organic orchard. Since we can have an organic orchard here, there are no grapes or other fruits or other plants that are treated with pesticides. We have the opportunity to have organic fruit, which is really important to us.
Okay.
Here I am trimming the roots. So you need to be careful. The old roots you need to trim right to the point where they are growing old, and the new roots just at the end. So not too much. Less is more, definitely. And you need to have the sharp scissors that are good to use for the fruits and grapes and olives. And also you can use these for the roses.
Alright, so the next step, when the holes are finished, when the digging is finished, is to insert some good soil, and we have it right here. It's very nice, good soil for apples, for tangerines, for pears, etc. So we are using this small bucket. This entire pack is going to be enough for all our 12. The next step after this nice soil is to add some fertilizer, but the fertilizer is going on the top and never on the bottom. So one second thing which we're going to add between the soil is the special small kind of pellets which are used for the trees to make roots faster. This is this one. So yep, from the plantella, it's, I don't know, in your country you have something similar, I guess. It's for the faster rooting. So why this one is going near the roots? Because it helps the roots to expand faster. And this one here is for the, it's of course natural eco. This is our first hole, and we will add a bit of this very nice and rich soil which is right here, and we will just the second part is this special kind of like pellets for the faster roots making. We bought 3 packs of 1.5 kilos, which is it says here for 8 trees, but we bought 3 of them for 12 because the soil is a little bit.
You spent all the money.
All the holes are ready, all the trees are ready, as you can see. Yeah, for the first one we picked the smallest one, but it is what it is. So this first one is the apple tree, I think. Yep, it's apple tree, and the sort is Fuji, which is well-known European Japanese sort of apples, of course.
The inspector right here.
Yes, and here is the
Doggo inspector.
Doggo inspector. All right. So first of all, we'll just place the tree somewhere here. Make sure that the roots are, as you saw before, trimmed, yes, and that they are looking nice. As you can see, this one has also these small roots and they are healthy. Yes, that's right. And we have to make sure that the soil is not over this part. So not the soil has to be
cover this part.
That's right. So we will leave it something around here. Let's do this. We'll now start to cover the soil. All right, so what we did here is I were stepping around the plant, the tree, because every air pocket in the ground is going to become unusable for the tree. So we have to compress the ground and then add the water to squeeze it a bit more. And that's all. Now we're going to place this stick. Why? Because we want this tree to be resistant on the wind. So one important part, but it depends on where you live. If your orchard is surrounded by the fence, you don't need this. But if it isn't, like ours, then you will need this small protection. That's right. And we will place it like this.
So right now we are connecting the stick with the main branch, so they are protected from the wind. So we are now connecting the main branch to the wood stick, so the tree will have resistance to the wind. It doesn't have to be really tight. It's enough so the main branch is not moving a lot.
That looks cool. And the first apple tree is boom, done. Good job,
It's pretty
Larissa.
simple.
Yep. Great.
You need to be patient
We are now
and follow the instructions from the gardening center where you buy your apples, because specific area probably
they will know the best.
has specific instructions, or the soil is different, so you need to learn about that before you plant the trees.
That's right.
Right now we are planting the roses. You need to make sure that the soil is pretty good and you need to make sure that the soil is not too hard, especially if it's wet, because roses are pretty sensitive to the hard soil. So it needs to be like this. And then we will put the pellets for growing the roots faster, and then the fertilizer, mineral fertilizer for the roses. Fertilizer. We will dig the hole at least 30 centimeters or 35, since they need a little bit deeper hole than other plants. So here is the rose sort called, it's kind of funny, the sort is called Dick Dick, but they are beautiful pink roses. They have really nice smell, and they make a beautiful big bush. So they are not the tree roses, they are more bushy, but they have a lot of flowers and beautiful dark green leaves. Okay, we'll put it in the ground. thing we need to do is to trim the tip of the trees and the side branches. Here we have only the main branch, so we will trim at the top. And for the other trees that are slightly bigger, we have also the main branch and the side branches. So we need to trim also this a little bit. When you look at these trees, the first thought is that you don't really want to trim them, but it's better for the crop. In a couple of years we will definitely have bigger trees, nicer trees, and a lot more apples than if you don't do that at the beginning. We are going to prune these trees. So if you have the main branch, you will prune 1/3 of the tree for the side branches, so you need to measure. And then for the main branch, you will prune the way you want it to be, or the size you want it to be. So we will measure the 1/3 like this. It doesn't have to be exact. And the last step is to fertilize the ground with a special fertilizer for the fruit trees. We are using the organic one, and you just put it around the roots, around the tree, and you leave it like that. No, actually the last step is to water the trees.